Welcome to another edition of Founders Tales. I'm delighted to be joined by Alesia, who is the founder of Studypop. Great to have you on. Do you want to give everybody a quick intro to yourself and your company?
Hi, Chris. I'm Alesia Razumova, founder of Studypop. Studypop is a platform and a full-scale mobile-first study system built for students with ADHD.
Yeah, perfect. And where did the problem come from that that sparked the idea for the business?
So the problem for me was, and I suppose it's still very personal, my brother unfortunately dropped out of college after several semesters. So he tried everything from, getting accommodation, just like dealing with the focus challenges that he had. And unfortunately, as students and learners with ADHD experience a lot of executive function challenges. And so that sort of culminated into burnout and procrastination, and that cycle spiraled. And then eventually he just let us know that he didn't feel like it was the best thing for him to return. And despite him trying, it was, yeah, and it still is something that he talks about to this day. So that's something that I would love to help other learners with, just because I've seen it in my own life, and I know how impactful it can be.
Fantastic. Love the mission behind the business. Great stuff. And you've been working on the platform for a while now. So how does the MVP look today versus, when you first started?
So I originally started building this before the amazing tools that we know today, especially as a tech founder. I started building it in a different framework. Essentially, the first version that I created it is nothing really to do with what I have today. It was originally focused kind of more on review, whereas the system as it stands today is it's both skill and content goal based. There is auto scheduling. There's robust analytics. So it's really transformed from being something that was just like a one-off tool into being like a full-scale platform.
Yeah, brilliant. And what would you say are the main things that you've learned from building out the business since you started?
So I have learned a lot. I've learned that it's very important to start building systems early on, both for yourself and your time tracking, but also in terms of how you develop and where you see your system or platform going. I also learned that sort of in the same breath, have to project manage everything. So being somebody I formerly worked as a project manager myself, so I was familiar with sort of understanding and planning and doing all of that. But when you are solo, which I am currently and when you are working on something brand new, it's very hard to, I guess, obviously you don't know everything. It's also very hard to plan ahead for that. And so it's a constant cycle of learning, adapting, implementing, and you want to be as effective and efficient as possible. So, you do have to create these systems, but you also have to persevere through doing those tasks that are not necessarily super fun.
Yeah. And what would you say has been the most challenging hurdle that you've had since you started the business?
I think that in every season of the business, there are specific challenges. So, initially it's collecting all of the learning that you need to even, begin to build something. And then it's how do you talk about it? And then it is how do you, reach your customer? So the problem there is always kind of like a problem, but it does change over time and sort of your focus shifts from one thing to another.
Yep. And what's it been like to self-fund the company whilst also simultaneously running another business?
It's been very hard. It Yeah, I started a small business originally as sort of kind of an experiment to understand if this is something that I would want to pursue in my life, just because, and I strongly believe that if you are entrepreneurial or you think that you want to try something, you can start small and you can build something and see if this even fits your lifestyle. And I love the challenge. So the challenge really, really drives me. And eventually with the small business, I decided I didn't want to like scale it any further. I was okay where it was. And I decided to sort of pivot and pursue something else entirely. So it's difficult because you still have, you're managing your two babies and you want both to be successful. And, in some cases, you're using one to sort of fund the other. So, you do have sacrifices that you have to make. So, because you just end up working a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And building in Boston, have there been any local meetups, resources, mentors that have been beneficial and made a difference for yourself?
Absolutely. So the community in Boston is small, but it's very driven. I find that everything here, I haven't built elsewhere, but I find that people they enjoy helping each other. They're always paying it forward. And there are a lot of available resources and programs. So one of the programs that I was recently a part of was a 12-week accelerator through Babson College called WinLab. It's a woman's, business accelerator. So the framework is, talks about, as a woman in business, but it also gives you very specific tools on, how to move your business forward financially and marketing and lots of other areas, because Babson is a wonderful school, and entrepreneurship for them is like number one. I also recently participated in a 10-day program through Prepare for VC called The Forge, where we did a lot of pitch practice, and it was really great to get feedback from my peers. And I think that all the founders that I've met have been so excellent and supportive, and in fact, we kind of use each other to mentor, because, like, for instance, I might be very skilled, on the tech side of things, but somebody else may be looking for maybe some more input on that. And I find myself just like talking to founders in my community and just exchanging knowledge, and it's been wonderful.
Yeah. And through those conversations with other founders, what would you say has been the best piece of information or advice that you've been given?
There has been a lot of great advice. I think the one thing that I've learned, and I don't remember where I heard this the first time, but essentially before you have a ready product, 50% of your product is your learning. So you have to take that very seriously. Like previously in my head, I would think that if I'm not producing something that's like tangible or someone can like play with and hold, and I'm not fulfilling the task. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But when you sort of take that perspective and understand that 50% of what you are doing is getting you to that goal, and, by establishing those systems and by doing everything you can in order to make that efficient, enjoyable, it helps you get to that end result. It's hard to see when you are starting out, but obviously retrospect changes things.
Yep, 2020. Cool. And then final question for you. As a solopreneur, what advice would you pass on to other solopreneurs, people that are going on this journey on their own? What kind of advice might you pass on to that pool of people?
Something else that is very common, I've heard a lot, is progress over perfection. So sometimes you'll get really stuck on something and you want it to be perfect. That's never really going to exist. So putting something out there, putting yourself out there, not, completely isolating yourself while you're building. I think those are critical things to just understanding yourself, your business, both in your community but at large. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, no worries. Fantastic. Well, listen, look, thank you very much for joining today. I love the mission of the business. I can relate to what you shared earlier. So, best of luck to yourself. Best of luck to Studypop. And I look forward to seeing how you guys grow from strength to strength.